This is Sport Night Amplified with Andile. Okay. 6 till 7 p.m. Powered by SABC Sport. Let's go.
It's Conversation Fridays, and the conversation today, we could not avoid it because, hey, it's all that's happening, isn't it? As far as South African football is concerned anyway. Over 45 players have been let go since, I think Chiefs were the first who started it all. And then we've seen Sekhukhune do the same. Amazulu have done the same. There's been some changes as well out at SuperSport United. We're talking about all of that. And you can join in on the conversation. 089-110-3377. WhatsApp us on 074-845-6650. Very tense situation happening at the moment out in France at the French Open there. Zverev has been wheelchaired off the court. He looked to be in dire pain. So I'll keep you abreast as to what that's going on. It's going to happen or not, and what will happen to that match, if it's going to carry on or it'll be a forfeit. Today's show, we're going to be speaking to a man that was part of that list that Amazulu released. And I was hoping to get Luvuyo Memela to have a conversation with him. I wasn't able to get a hold of him today. You know, still would love to talk to him. But Diego Goalkeeper Mulenga, who's also part of that list, I can now call him a former Amazulu striker. He'll be joining us live from Zambia. But also, I'll have Sandile Zungu, Amazulu chairman, who's going to come on and talk to us about the players that he's let go. Always great conversation with him. I can't wait for it. We'll understand from his point of view the 15 players that they've let go, why they've released those 15 players, and perhaps get a little bit more detail and understanding from there on. But a regular here on the show, of course, is Xola Mlambo at Super Journal. I saw you were 2 minutes away from trending on social media with your reporting today. Welcome to it. An unprecedented week as far as parting of team and players is concerned.
Yeah, good evening to the listeners. I think some of it was expected with Kaizer Chiefs. I think the sporting director had been saying time and time again that we are going to reduce the average age. We are looking to rebuild. We need to be patient. We need to be realistic with the targets. And true to his word, and the management as well, it's happened as predicted, especially with the players that were out of contract. I think we also reported today that Bernard Parker will probably be offered a role within the structures because he's paid his school fees literally. He's paid his school fees literally and gone to do sports management, and he wants to get into coaching. So we foresee a continuation there with Bernard Parker behind the scenes. But and as far as players released, perhaps for me the only surprise, maybe if it is a surprise, it's Daniel Cardoso. But the rest, I think with limited game time, you saw it coming. And then, we're going to talk about all the other changes. Sekhukhune United, Maritzburg, Amazulu especially. They started the clear out, so to speak, and, with Chiefs following. And the big one, Coach Fadlu leaving Pirates with his contract not being extended. So I expect Pirates will have a new head coach next season.
What did you make of that move? I mean, it was very unexpected. We were waiting for Orlando Pirates to make a decision. The two coaches have done so well. They've taken it to the final of the Confederations Cup and almost getting into that position again in order to go play CAF football again. Was it a big surprise that? I mean, it was definitely unexpected to be happening now, but was it a big surprise with Fadlu leaving?
For me, not so much. In fact, I probably thought the two coaches would vacate the seat. I'll tell you why I say that. They've punched below their weight in as far as that team is concerned. The other day we were engaging with some Orlando Pirates supporters, and some feel the team finished where it deserved to finish in terms of their performances. But if you look at that squad should be challenging for the league title. That squad should be challenging for domestic competitions and going all the way toe to toe with Mamelodi Sundowns and the like. And I think with the squad that they have, the two coaches, in my opinion, they underachieved. I think winning the Confed Cup would have probably papered over the cracks. But they couldn't score. They could have easily won that game against RS Berkane, but they fluffed their chances, and I guess this is the result of that. I mean, I think it's a departure of convenience to say the coach's contract has not been extended. But I suspect even if he had a year or so to go, there would have been conversations behind the scenes after the season that they've had. I mean, Pirates finished 6th, with that squad, that they shouldn't be finishing in that position. So hence I'm confident to say Pirates will have a new head coach next season.
Right, well, let's get into the conversation at hand. And of course, we'll be touching back on Kaizer Chiefs, Orlando Pirates, as well as Amazulu when we speak to the chairman there, Sandile Zungu, who will be joining us on the line. But on that list, and I'll read the quote to you. It says, release list, Amazulu Football Club would like to thank the list of players for their contributions towards the growth of the club. We wish each one of them the very best in their future aspirations. And it names every one of the 15 players. Of course, some big surprises there for many was Luvuyo Memela, perhaps Xola Mlambo as well, you can throw in there. Many people asking about, wow, we'd forgotten that Tsepo Masilela was there. And I'd love to have a conversation with Tsepo to find out what now for the future of a Tsepo Masilela. Kgotso Moleko as well. Hendrick Ekstein, who, of course, made it there at a time when returning to South Africa, he needed a place to be. We thought, reigniting his career. He went to Amazulu, Thabo Qalinge, Siphelele Mthembu among some of those players, and Augustine Mulenga as well. Diego Augustine Mulenga, who now joins us on the line all the way from Zambia. Always great to speak to him. So let's get him and see if we're able to, find out a little bit more about his release. It is a Sports Night Amplified with Andile. On the line, all the way from Zambia, we do have Augustine Diego Mulenga, former Amazulu striker. The list was sent out by Amazulu today, and this man happened to be on that list. Diego.
Hello.
How are you, Diego?
I'm okay. How are you?
No. I'm very well, man. How's the healing? How's the healing process? I know you had gone home because of an injury to just heal a little bit. How's it going?
So far, so good. There is an improvement. And I'm just focusing on that, for now.
What was your injury and how bad was it? What is the expected time for your return?
My injury was a tendon rupture, Achilles. So my tendon ruptured. So I done an operation. I thank God everything went well. And here I am, just focusing on recovery and rehab now.
I mean, there's no better way to say this, but we all saw the list that came out from Amazulu. Your name was on it. Talk to me about the conversations that were had with you from Amazulu before that list was sent out.
Please, can you come again?
I'm asking about, the list of players that have been released by Amazulu. It came out a little bit earlier, but I'd love to know the conversations you had with Amazulu before we saw the list.
To be honest, the conversation that we have with Mr. Zungu, the president, me when I had a conversation with him, there was a time that us players, we had a one-on-one meeting with him. And then from him, what he told me is that he's gonna renew my contract. He still want me to stay at Amazulu. And he asked me if me also I still wants to stay. And I said, yeah, I'm happy. I would love to continue my journey. And then he was like, oh, okay, I'll talk to your manager. Yeah, and when my manager told me that he has received my clearance, I was shocked because I'm injured, now I'm injured. And when my manager said he has received my clearance, I was shocked because I was like, now I'm injured. Yeah, it's not that I'm bad or what. I'm injured. If I would want to find another team, where am I going to find another team now because I'm injured? And in my mind, I knew that the president promised me that he's gonna renew my contract, and then I just said that, oh no, we won't renew your contract, which is okay, because it's him, it's the owner, but my concern is just that me, I'm injured. I'm just appealing maybe to them if they can help me to get better, like to be back on my feet so that I can look a job somewhere else, because like right now it's gonna be tough for me because I'm injured and I've got a family, I've got responsibilities, I've got like kids, I've got relatives, people that I support like every month that they're depending on me, and according to my situation now that I'm injured, it's gonna be difficult for me and also for those people, because I won't be working, I won't be having money to help them or to help my needs. So my appealing is just that if they can consider me like to help me, maybe if when I get better, and then they are like, okay, now since you are better, okay, now it's fine, now you can look a job somewhere else. That's only my appealing.
Augustine, and I hear your appeal, and it's very heartfelt. Have you had any communication from the last time that you spoke to the club when they said we're renewing your contract to now when you get a call from your agent saying we're not renewing? Was there any communication with the club at all from your side?
Like to me, no. The president was just, I remember, I think in January, he talked to my agent. He asked my agent, like, you guys, since your contract is ending in the next 6 months, what do you want? Like, what can we give you? And then my agent, I remember, he told them, like, no, you can tell us what you have, and then we can take it from there and discuss, and we can sit down and discuss and see what we can do, what we can help with each other.
Were there any issues with you, maybe with the coach, maybe with your performance, the amount of games you've played versus the goals you're scoring as a forward? Was there any performance issues between you and the club?
I don't think so. But I don't think it can be because of maybe my performance, or I didn't play a lot of games this season. If you can look, the rest is maybe something that they have just decided, like, no, we must do this. So I don't think it can be because of maybe I didn't play a lot of games this season because of injuries or what. I think it's just them. They decided, like, no, we're gonna just do this, guys. So I think that could be the reason.
Augustine, I'm terribly sorry for what you've been dealt, and I'm hoping and wishing that you get back on your feet, literally, and that you're able to improve your situation and get another team. And I know you'll plead to the team, but I just wonder, as you've been injured now, has the team been checking up on you? Have they been paying your bills? Have they been helping you with your rehab?
Since I came back here in Zambia, I remember last time when I communicated to our physio that side, he was like, no, you are in Zambia, you have to do it by yourself. I was like, how? I got injured on duty that side. Majok left there in Durban, he went to Joburg. You guys, you're paying for him. But how come to me you're saying that I have to do it by myself? So, and then I told my agent, I think my agent, he sent them the letter, or I think, he sent them the letter, but he hasn't explained to me, like, the response that they gave him. So, it's like now the troubles have already started. You see, I've been like paying, using my money like to do physio this side.
Augustine, all of the very best moving forward. I'm glad you told your story, and if there is teams that are listening, as they always are here, and are interested in your service, I'm pretty sure they'll be able to help you, but all of the very best.
much.
Augustine Mulenga, the former Amazulu player, part of that list of 15 released. A very heartfelt plea there, Mazul.
Sure, that's hectic, because if the type of injury that Augustine has suffered is going to rule him out for quite some time, and teams are busy preparing their squads for next season. I mean, I think in about 3 weeks, a lot of teams will be going back at the end of June for pre-season, just before the season starts in early August, and they would want to have their teams finalized. And if Mulenga is still out with this injury, it puts him on the back foot. It's sad to hear that he says the club has not offered him financial support in terms of rehab. I think that's the least that they could do, having offloaded him. So, it's heartbreaking to hear that a player has had to go back home to Zambia and struggle literally for to make ends meet.
Well, I know a man that doesn't shy away or dodge when it comes to responsibilities at Amazulu is the president, Sandile Zungu, who now joins us on the line. Sandile, thank you so much for joining us, President, and it's always a pleasure to speak to you. I'm not sure how much of the conversation you heard earlier, but before we even get into that, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Andile, and good evening to the listeners of Metro and your show.
Mpati, before we even start on individuals, please talk to me about the reasoning behind and the caucus that was set and held, and the process to which you came to before you released the players, the 15 list of players that we saw.
When we came on board to buy into Amazulu 2 years ago, we never sold a single player. Quite honestly, we did so well in the first season that we qualified for the CAF Champions League. They went to the transfer market to bolster the team. The only person that we lost was Mabiliso, who signed for Kaizer Chiefs. But we went out to get people who had the championship, CAF Champions League experience. You'll have seen us get, someone like Philani Zulu, for example, on the left, and a few others. So we ended up with a team of about 34 players, excluding the youngsters who are at MDC, who are dually registered. So, and I did make it very clear that, look, if we cannot defend our number 2 or 3 position, at least, or advance to win the Champions League, which was always going to be a possibility, then we'll be faced with a situation where we're not competing in the continent, and we're just faced with the DSTV Premier Soccer League and the competitions in the local league, and we will not need 34 players. And I made it clear that I'll go for what I'll call the best 20 in the crop, and then go to the transfer market to possibly get to a decent size of 28. I said actually maximum 28. And so that's exactly what we did. We looked at the team performance, and we looked at a whole of factors, including the system we will be deploying next season, and the kind of criteria or the qualities or the traits that we need in the athletes. And we sat down. We said this one fits perfectly into our plans. This one doesn't quite fit into our plans. And also bearing in mind that we're building for the future. It's not just about competing only in season 2022-23. And hence we took a decision that certain players will not extend their contracts. Some we will give clearance and also bearing in mind some were going to be lost to the team through attrition, going to other teams like September Tere and Thapelo Togi, going to Chiefs and Pirates respectively. So we end up with a squad of 19. And then we go into the transfer market. Already we have signed 7 players that will be disclosing and making public in the next week or so. So we are quite busy. We have gone to the market to look for what we'll call great players that will assist us to compete. Amazulu are not there to add to the numbers. When I win trophies, the last time we lifted silverware as Amazulu was 1992. And it's quite a shame for a big brand like Amazulu. So we're out there to compete. And to the extent that we want to win trophies, we'll be quite brutal in our choosing the best to stay with the team, and will be quite uncompromising in letting go of those that we believe we're not getting much from, or that we believe will not get much going forward.
Does that?
Yeah.
Firstly, Soro Nqamula Mphathi, when you say we, I just like to get an understanding as to who's we that sits around the table at Amazulu. The process is yourselves, because, as president of the team, who else sits around the table and is part? Which technical members of your team make those decisions, if you please may?
That's intellectual capital, how Amazulu runs its affairs. It will not be shared with the public. Suffices to say, it's a mix of technical people, it's a mix of administrative people, and it's a mix of business people, which is the directors. So we get involved. It's a consultative process. We are very good at holding each other accountable. So there's no yes man at Amazulu. We ask, we challenge each other, but we have to get to decisions. And remember, we're running a business. We're not running some kind of a popularity stake here. We have to get Amazulu to perform. Amazulu faithful have been patient since 1992, and they're happy to see that team finishing in the top 8 on 2 successive occasions. Something that has not happened in a long time. After the end of the first quartile, Amazulu is languishing in the bottom, not in the last 2 seasons. But trust me, they expect better than that, and they deserve better than that. And so the extent to which I get involved, the extent to which coaches get involved, and the extent to which GMs get involved and other directors, is because we want the best for this team. And we will get the best for this team. I can assure you on that.
Manzini, let's perhaps pick on that list and take a look at some players. I just spoke to Augustine Mulenga all the way from Zambia, who says that he spoke to you prior to this when you're negotiating, and you had promised him that he's going to stay at Amazulu. He's currently injured, and he got absolutely no help from Amazulu to help recover him from his injury, and that's all he'd wanted from you guys before letting him go.
First of all the players that have been let go, we have deep appreciation for the role that they've played in Amazulu. Some more than others. Mulenga is one of those players that gave it his all. He is prone to injuries. It just so happens that when he got injured, he decided to go home to Zambia. There are certain limitations in terms of what the insurance companies that we take cover for can do, depending on one's location. and those are not issues that are known by players when they decide of their own volition, I'd rather go home and recover from home. So Mulenga is one of those that chose to go home, and it is our express wish that his recovery is not compromised. That notwithstanding, I never assured and guaranteed anyone a place. Up until last week, I was telling everyone who was keen on asking, among players that were sending their agents, are we going to get an extension? I said, no, play the game up until the last game of Arrows. It's only then that we're going to decide. And I was not compromising, and I was not discriminating against anyone. They were all getting uniform message, Mulenga included.
So the meeting he says happened with you one-on-one did not happen?
Look, I'm not going to be the one to contradict a person whose interview I did not hear. And also, these are professionals that at the very least, I as president of Amazulu must endeavor to respect and not contradict. What he said to you, I didn't hear. All I can assure you is that I respect all these individuals as professionals, and even now I can give an assurance that his recovery I have very good interest in. I want him to fully recover, whether for the benefit of Amazulu or the future team that he's going to play for. It's important that he recovers because he's a professional. He's a good man. But I can assure you, if there's any attempt to present Amazulu as an uncaring organization, such will need to be dismissed with absolute contempt that they deserve, because that is devoid of any truth.
So I think possibly the biggest shocker of the players listed here, and the most talkable point that came across from many, including some Amazulu supporters, was Luvuyo Memela. Can you talk me through the process of letting go of Memela?
Well, I won't go into details about any individual player. Suffice it to paint a picture that we look at a whole of factors. The position that a player occupies and the application that is required from that player. And we look at statistics for the previous season, and we are able to project into the future what we may expect from a person, and to look at what we are trying to do, to then say, is there a perfect fit or not? And that's the kind of process that we have pursued with every one of the players, from goalkeeper to defender to midfielder to striker to even youngsters. One or two we're contemplating, look, maybe why don't we loan him out to other teams? Because he represents the future, but we know we may not use that person the next season. That's what the coach says. And we're still contemplating. We're going to go with some players to pre-season and maybe take a decision regarding one or two of them at the end of the pre-season, whether we loan them out or we fit them into the squad. But what we've said is that those who fit in that core team of 28 maximum must be able to compete and must be able to apply themselves as true professionals who want the best for this badge. They must wear that jersey and touch the badge and say, we'll not die for this badge. So I will not isolate any one player and say, this was the situation with them and not the situation with the others. we're very consistent in our looking at the players. And having said that, we appreciate the contribution that each and every one of them made to the team in recent past.
Before I let you go, President, very quickly, I just want to know, how smooth were your negotiations with Dumisani Zuma?
How smooth were the negotiations with Dumisani Zuma? Look, next week we'll be able to announce and inform the public which players are joining Amazulu. Among those players may be people that the soccer public is familiar with, who have played in the PSL, and some maybe great names that South Africa will be familiar with going forward, to come from other leagues, including Dumisani Zuma, who may feature or who may not feature.
President, since we've started speaking, when I mentioned his name was the first time I heard your smile. I can imagine. I thought to myself, when I'm on Zinuti, did you use the line when you were talking to him to say, "Son, it's time you come home"?
Look, Mzulangat, everyone knows how talented that young man is. And everyone is familiar with the disciplinary issues that Kaizer Chiefs have been elaborate in their statement. And what Kaizer Chiefs communicates to the public about their erstwhile players, you have got to take them seriously, because it's one team who have done so much for the profession, and who I don't think go out on a limb to hurt the individuals. It's tough love. I'm sure they've said, Dumisani, we love you, young man. We know your extreme talent, but how disappointed we've been. So it is quite obvious, therefore, that if you're to come to Amazulu, we'll obviously bear in mind what your erstwhile employer says about you, and we'll have tough talking to. And we will extract certain commitments from yourself, and we'll hold you to certain code of conduct. We'll show you the carrot, but we'll also tell you where the stick is. So we love Dumisani Zuma, but everyone knows how capable that young man is. And KwaZulu-Natal is home. He comes from Mkungunjov, and it's only a few minutes ride to, wrong behavior. And that's a kind of culture I want to instill in this team. So those who will form the core of Amazulu must know that they're not on holiday. They'll be held accountable, because we don't run this as some kind of a social club, social enterprise. This is a business, and it's got people who have invested with their hearts in it, and those are the Amazulu faithful. They need to be rewarded, and the last we expect is anyone joining Amazulu to continue on a path to self-destruction, whether it's Dumisani Zuma, or it's Gabatino Mhango, or anybody else. We love these boys. We're here to support them, to build their careers, and to be better people in society. And they will make sure that they become such.
So I've said this to you many a times. It's not every chairman that comes on and puts themselves in the scrutiny of questions under fire. I appreciate it every time you do. thank you very much and all the best to getting the very best 28 that you can in order to compete, to foresee and see out this vision that you've got for Amazulu.
I thank you for the invite as well, and good evening to the listeners. And we enjoy being put on the spot because, quite frankly, I've always said I may be the owner of title of Amazulu, but this team belongs to the nation, and it belongs to people who supported it before I was born, who supported it when I was wearing the dry bones of Orlando Pirates, and I respect them. And so when they invite you, when they request you to invite me to account, I'll do so with all humility and commitment.
President Sandile Zungu of Amazulu, thank you very much, and great conversation. You make what you will in that conversation there. Mazola, your reflections?
It's a done deal. Dumisani Zuma to Amazulu. It will be interesting to see, excuse me, the pairing of Dumisani no Kabadino Mango. Two players that have been in the public for the wrong reasons over the last season, but let's see if they can revive their career in Durban.
It's interesting how that Chief's statement on Dumisani Zuma is somewhat of a deterrent as well, because now we're bringing you on, but we're wary of you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I was attacked. I've been attacked for the last 2 days on social media for saying it was an unnecessary character assassination of the player. He's off the field antics, are out there for everyone to have read about and seen. We've discussed it on the show a few weeks ago. The club suspended him twice. We are well aware. So when you're releasing him to then add on and vilify him in that manner, I thought the club went overboard. But there's always someone that's going to give a player a second chance, and Amazulu are clearly open to doing that. So let's see. It's the onus is on Dumisani as well to put his pieces back together.
The other big story is one that's been bubbling under for a very long time: SuperSport United and Bude.
Yeah, a total contradiction to how SuperSport, perhaps in a goodbye statement, painted the picture around the departure of Tsepo. We know it's different because he's been sold, as opposed to Dumisani being offloaded by Chiefs with a year to go on his contract. But let's see if he also takes charge of his own life and his own personal off the field conversations, and let's see if he improves. I think he's a brilliant player. Everybody knows that he's talented. Probably between the two of them, with Teboho Mokoena, the two boys from Harmony Academy, he's the more talented. But he's let himself down in the last couple of months, and his head was not there. Maybe a fresh start. We know that the Sundowns coaches are very they are hardcore. If you do not live the lifestyle that it's wanted by the club, you will sit in the stands and you will not make it onto the pitch. That's for sure. 074-845-6650 is the WhatsApp line. 089-110-3377. Let's get to you now.
Hi, Andile. I hope you are.
About 2 minutes to go. You're friends with Zuma's agent. You're friends with the president of, is it the chairman? The chairman of Swallows. You're friends with Mike Makap. You've got a lot of friends.
Yeah, clearly. I'm friends with everyone. My phone is buzzing right now. Everyone is calling me.
What was it about that Chiefs statement that hit such a nerve?
I think it was unprecedented. You never see a club when they are releasing a player almost vilify him like that,
But Mazola, how else do I explain why I'm letting go of a player that's still in contract that many people think has got a great future with the club?
Yeah, I think the statement could have been written better. I think it was clear that there had been a lot bubbling under. Perhaps the club had enough with the player, and negotiations over his release had not been going the way. I mean, as we know, that we broke the story when Chiefs announced that the agent and the player told SABC Sport that they had no idea that the player had been suspended. They found out through the media. So already that tells you that the relationship there was as cold as ice. So it's not surprising that the farewell statement was written in that manner.
Proverb, that's his team. And he's up next to replace the team that's normally here
Indeed.
on Friday evenings.
Indeed.
That's your team, boy.
But Andile, it is, brother. What can I tell you? For life, in fact.
Regardless.
Regardless, man. Come rain or shine. Come rain or shine.
Are we not allowed to change teams?
Not to let's say that.
Wait till Manyalo, Rita before God. Ratamamara team, no.
Never.
Never
ever. Eh?
I'm sure women sit there and they're like, I want a marriage like a
like
soccer
a
fan and a
relationship,
team.
yeah, pro.
That loyalty.
Relationship, yeah, pro. Like Kaiser Chiefs.
Yeah,
That's what I
that's
want.
it. That loyalty.
Weekdays, 6 till 7 p.m. Sport Night Amplified with Andile.